Welcome back to Sports Therapy. I'm really excited to have a good friend of mine back here on the show, Trey Rose from Dynasty Digest. You can find him out on Twitter. That's at Dynasty_Digest. Is here in studio to talk about Major League Baseball. I'm really excited to have him in here. Trey, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be back.
Of course, man. It's always good to hear your voice. Really excited to have you back here on the show. Now, as I said before the break, the Orioles are rolling like crazy this year, starting off to a 7-0 record overall with a huge victory over the Red Sox last night where J.J. Hardy dropped two two-run tanks. They're looking great. Trey, what are your first impressions of the Orioles this year?
You know, it's hard not to get excited about this team, especially being close to them here in Virginia. You look at their team, number one, their pitching is being dominant. They're the number one pitching team in the Major League Baseball. Their starters aren't elite. You're not going to come across anybody like Jose Fernandez, Clayton Kershaw, anybody like that. But the guys that they have in their rotation are doing their job. Chris Tillman, Ubaldo Jimenez, Giovanni Gallardo, all great rotation starters. But what's really impressed me is their bullpen. Their bullpen is just absolutely incredible. Darren O'Day, absolutely filthy so far through 4 innings. He's striking out 16 per 9 innings, which is just an unreal rate. Their closer, Zach Britton, is one of the best in the game. Has a 2.25 ERA through his few appearances here in the season. And then the young guy, Michael Givens, coming up from AAA last year, had a few appearances in the major leagues. Really starting to show that he deserves to be in the major leagues. Has 3 holds already, and putting up an insane 18.69 strikeout rate through 9, only through 4 innings. So it'll die down, but it's a pretty impressive stat.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's not like the Orioles are going to come out here and win all the game. I mean, that just doesn't happen in baseball. But still, to have a start to the season, you got to know the Orioles are loving it right now. So far this season, we've really had a week and a half or so of baseball this season. I think the 3 biggest headlines so far are, of course, the Orioles, as I just said, the new rule implementation of the sliding rule. I think that's been kind of all over the place. We've seen that really affect a few games so far this season, and then the young guys coming out and giving it everything they've got and just impressing us. Of course, Trevor Story, Noah Syndergaard, and maybe a few others. So Trey, I want to talk about those with you. First off, with that sliding rule, I think it makes sense. You definitely want to protect, especially those shortstops as guys are sliding in hard at second base. I mean, it makes sense as a rule, but man, we've seen it affect quite a few games. What are your thoughts on the rule so far?
Yeah, well, to give the people some background on it, this whole rule was created. It's called the Chase Utley rule. Last year, Chase Utley was sliding in the second to break up a double play situation. He slid late. It was clearly a play that was trying to break up the double play, not to be safe. And when he did, he took out second baseman for the Mets, Ruben Tejada, and broke his leg. So Major League Baseball went about it and fixed it this offseason. Basically said that in order to go in and slide, you have to, one, maintain control of the base throughout the entire slide. You have to slide early enough to the base that you're not sliding too late to hit them. And it has to be a clear cut. You're going for the base and not the player. Which sounds great on paper, you're trying to protect the players. I think it's the right thing to do. But of course, there's going to be some gray areas and there's going to be some implementation. Oh, golly, I can't even talk today. There's going to be some issues with it. We've already seen it early in the season with 2 slides this year that have ended ball games. I mean, they've ended double play ball games. With Jose Bautista, he grabbed Logan Forsythe's ankle, which was I'm not going to call it dirty. It definitely wasn't a bad play, but it caused him to throw it away. The tying run scored. The Blue Jays were pumped. And then, bang, you bring it into review, and the ball game's over, just like that. And then another one with my Astros, Colby Rasmus sliding into second base. Didn't maintain control of the base the entire time, slid too late, and ended the game on a double play with a runner on third base and down by a run. So obviously it's affected the ball game a lot more than I think people expected, but I think it's the right move on Major League Baseball's part.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Trey. And as a guy that played baseball myself growing up, and you played as well for a number of years, I bet you can agree with me that in playing the game of baseball, you're always kind of looking for those loopholes, whatever it is. Now, I wouldn't call it cheating. I mean, I'm not going to come out and say, everybody sits there and cheats, but you're always kind of looking for that competitive advantage to have over your opponent. And I think this has been kind of that thing. I remember playing high school. I would always tell the guy, slide hard into second base, break that thing up. I mean, that's been taught to us ever since we were little. But now it's crazy. This is going to have to get changed, and I think it makes sense, especially after last year, as you said, as the Mets second baseman broke his leg, in a huge game where he needed to be there. I think this needed to happen, but now we're going to see, the way baseball is taught to the youth growing up through the game and taught in a different way. I think it makes sense, though. The safety of our players in the major league, I think that is of utmost prominence, and I agree with it. But man, it still is a little weird to see it happening now.
Well, when you look at baseball as a whole, it's been around for so long. So when you change a rule that it's kind of like an unwritten rule. You can slide into these guys, and it's expected. It's been expected for hundreds of years now. But when you change a rule that has been so ingrained in the culture of baseball, there's going to be whining and complaining, especially when it affects 2 ball games within the first week of play. I think it's going to die down. I think people are going to come out and be very happy with it. It's going to save a lot of careers, I think. So overall, I think it's a great idea.
Yep, totally agree. Now, that last headline that I wanted to talk about you and really talk about you with the most is the young guns, Trey. We've seen now, especially with Trevor Story, not to be punny here, but just an incredible story. I mean, this guy, playing for the Rockies, shortstop for the Rockies, a rookie, has come in and through his first week or so of being in the MLB, done something literally that nobody has ever done so far. I mean, he's already in Cooperstown for what he's done, Trey. I mean, this guy has got 7 bombs, I believe, already through a span of 6 or 7 games. Just unbelievable what he's done. And I'm not going to say this guy's one-dimensional either. I've actually been able to watch a little bit of him play, and defensively in the field, this guy's got quick hands. This guy's no joke. Filling in for a Jose Reyes, a guy that's maybe heralded as one of the better shortstops in the game. But look out, Jose, because Trevor Story is in, and he's not going anywhere. Trey, what do you make of Trevor Story in the incredible season that he has had so far?
Well, Story's come out of nowhere. I think people were expecting him to make an impact this year, but by no means was anyone expecting this. You got to wonder what's going to happen with this Jose Reyes situation, with this domestic abuse situation. What's going to happen when he ends up returning? I think that you're going to see Story's that drop a little bit. I think you're going to see him come back down to earth. And I hate to be pessimistic on it, but I mean, last night he got showed up a little bit. 3 strikeouts, 4 at-bats. He went 0 for 4.
Yep.
The hype is going to die down eventually. This kid has all the talent in the world, though. I mean, I knew he was going to come in with a lot of power. The shortstop position is lacking power at some point, at some tiers. But this kid doesn't lack power. I mean, he got in 2015 in Double-A and Triple-A. He hit 279 with 20 bombs, 80 RBIs, 83 runs, and then 22 stolen bases on top of a 350 on base percentage. So he's really contributing on all levels of the game. It's good to see that from a fantasy perspective, specifically. But when the guy comes in to his 2 home runs on opening day, the hype grows. All of a sudden, he hits one on the 3rd day, 4th day, and people are going, "What the heck is going on?" He's now hit 7 home runs in 7 games. He is he broke the record. Mike Schmidt and Larry Walker held the records for most home runs in the first 6 games, and all of a sudden, Trevor Story has shattered that. And he's doing big things, but I do think he's going to slow down eventually.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that. We can't just sit here and believe the hype forever. It always does die down. But still, I mean, to see a guy, especially as a rookie, as a guy that was not really expected, Trey, to come in and be nearly this productive, especially a guy that wasn't even, if Jose Reyes hadn't made that mistake, he wouldn't even be playing shortstop for the Rockies right now. But to see him come in and really just shock the world of Major League Baseball, I mean, I think personally, I think it's been great for the game of baseball so far. And Trey, I'm just gonna say this as well. I think the young guys, Carlos Carrera, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper, the list can go on about the guys under 24 or 25 that are just killing it right now in baseball. It makes the game so much better because honestly, you get kind of tired of seeing the 15-year vets, playing every game for the Yankees or the Braves, whoever it is. It just gets kind of old. There's not a lot of excitement with that. Yeah, we're starting to see these young guys come in and really take over the game of baseball. I think it's great for the game.
You bring up a really interesting dynamic because, when you watch Trevor Story play the game of baseball, this dude has a chip on his shoulder. He hits a home run and he's going to make you feel it. He's going to trot. He's going to come out of the batter's box with a look of determination on his face, and you can tell that he's loving the game of baseball. Same with Bryce Harper. There's been a huge controversy with this. Is baseball a profession, or is it supposed to be fun, or how is it supposed to be interpreted? After Jose Bautista had his massive his massive home run last year, where he did this bat flip that was just, I think he threw that bat over the border of Canada and the United States. But when he threw that, the baseball world kind of erupted and said, "Oh, but that's not how baseball is supposed to be played. It's supposed to be played with respect. You shouldn't be showing up the pitchers." And then guys like Bryce Harper and a bunch of other people come out and say, "No, baseball is supposed to be fun. If I get the best of you, I'm going to make you. I'm going to show that I'm pumped for it. But if you get the best of me, you know what? You should be pumping your fist too, because that's a feat in itself." And I think that guys like Trevor Story and Harper are really bringing about an attitude of baseball that's going to make it significantly better over the next 10 to 15 years.
And I got to agree with you, somewhat here, Trey. You also got to take the devil's advocate side to this whole situation. Yes, it's great, and as I just stated, I think it's great for the game of baseball. But the kind of downside of it is, especially maybe the bat flip or whatever you want to talk about, in terms of guys coming up in the youth and guys playing in high school and even in college. Come on, you don't want to see some little 12-year-old hit a bomb and then bat flip. That's just So it's a tough spot to be in, because if you're the MLB and you're trying to make money and you're trying to it's a business. It really is. You're trying to sell seats. You're trying to get people to watch your game. When you see a guy hit a ball 450 feet and he lets the pitcher know about it, man, that's awesome television. That's great right there. That's exciting. But you see a 12-year-old barely hit one over the fence and he acts like he just hit a ball 600 feet. Then we got some issues. And let's not say that the little kids are not watching, Bautista and Harper and the other guys watch, play the game. Of course they are. They're trying to emulate everything they did. I did that when I was growing up. So I think there's really two sides to this situation. But overall, man, I think it's great for the game.
Well, I think Carlos Correa said it best when he talked about this whole situation. He talked about, you can do whatever you want to do. You can celebrate, but you have to be humble. There has to be a humility of you that you can pump your fist because you're pumped that you hit a home run or if it was in a big situation, but you're not pumping it because you're trying to show up at the other pitcher. Also, pick and choose your battles. If you hit a home run in the first inning, off of a hanging curveball, who cares? It's great that you hit a home run, but hey, there's 8 innings of ball left in the game. But if you hit a walk-off, man,
yeah,
I'll tell you what, I'd be running around, I'd be skipping around the bases, I'd stop at second base, I'd take a picture, I'd call my mom when I got on third base and tell her how I hit it. I would be pumped. I get what these guys say.
Yeah, no, that's so true, and I think that's another huge part of this whole thing, and even Trey, I can even put this with kind of what we've seen with even Cam Newton after the Super Bowl, the way he reacted to the media. We got to humanize these guys a little bit. Yes, they are professionals. They are celebrities to an extent. They're superstars, but they're still human beings. Come on. When you do something great in life, you're going to want to celebrate. When you fail at something in life, you're not going to be the happiest man in the world. That's just the way that things go. That's the way that we are wired as human beings. So, let's transition now to the pitcher position, Trey. Another young stud in Noah Syndergaard with the Mets has been lighting it up so far this season. Pitched a great game last night, but didn't get the offense to help him to get the win. But still, this guy is filthy. He's scary. He took down the reigning World Series Kansas City Royals earlier this season. Trey, what do you make of Noah Syndergaard?
This guy is the definition of a superhero. His nickname is Thor. It looks like Thor. He throws like Thor. This man is Thor. I really think that he quite possibly could be superhuman. When you look at his stuff, it makes you question. It makes you question how you're even preparing how to hit this. He he's averaging, last year in 2015, his fastball averaged 97.1 miles per hour. That's an average. I mean, he can top out at 100, 101. I'm not sure how you even, I really don't know how you go about preparing for that. Not only that, but it's not a straight fastball. It has movement to it. It has run to it. It's getting on hitters quick. He has a 6'6" frame. Gosh. He's getting down that mound with a lot of extension. You know, you're throwing from 60 feet 6 inches, and all of a sudden you have that 6'6" frame, and you're throwing from 52 feet now, which means that velocity is getting on you even quicker. And not to mention his fastball is great, but this is what just is astounding to me. The man threw a 95 mile per hour slider against the Royals last week. I mean, and not only that, but he's averaging 91 to 92 with this slider. I mean, that is, there's some pitchers in the major leagues who don't throw a fastball 91 to 92 miles per hour.
Well, Trey, another giant pitcher in the MLB with the Kansas City Royals, Chris Young. He's also like 6'6", 6'7". He doesn't even touch 88 with his fastball.
I know. It's nuts. I mean, this guy has it all. He's got the body. He's got the stuff. His motion looks beautiful. He's a little herky-jerky, but I think that works to his advantage. He's got the hair. Obviously, the hair is helping him. Through 2016, he's thrown 13 innings. Like you said last night, he dominated. His 13 innings, he has 21 strikeouts and a .69 ERA. I think this guy is just, he's lights out. He plays for a great team. The Mets are going to be a competitor all year long with the Nationals and the NL East.
Hey, what about my Phillies?
I was just about to bring up the fact that the Phillies will be bringing up the rear.
Come on.
I'm sorry, man, but when Noah Syndergaard plays the Phillies, they might as well not even show up, man.
Come on, baby. Phillies got a win last night against the Padres, looking strong to start the year off. Come on, baby.
That's against the Padres. You remember how we talked about that utility?
Yeah.
We got to bring you back to earth here. But, Syndergaard's looking great. He's got a great attitude about him. I actually tweeted earlier this week. I said, if you could have a pitcher or a hitter in the major leagues run for president, who would it be? And Noah Syndergaard was my choice. I had all kinds of great explanations on that. But, yeah, I think that this kid is going to be the face of baseball. I think he's going to be a top 5, top 10 arm this year. Top 5 might be a little high because you're getting into the tier with Clayton Kershaw, Garrett Cole, Madison Bumgarner. But I think he has the talent. The only thing you have to worry about with this guy is his arm going to be able to withstand this kind of velocity that he is producing on a regular basis? Tommy John is becoming so apparent in baseball nowadays. And, it's a very successful surgery, but these high velocities that kids are going to throw at a young age is what's causing the Tommy John issue. Yeah. And you got to wonder, can his elbow withstand the 95 mile per hour slider? Because that's out of this world.
Yeah, I mean, Steven Strasburg is a prime example of a guy that came into the league as a young pitcher throwing gas. Probably averaging close to what Syndergaard is averaging. Getting it up into the hundreds. But then we saw what happened with his arm. He's still a very good pitcher. I mean, we're not going to take that away from him in Washington, but still not the same guy that he was when he came in. We now have another Nomar in the MLB. Not Nomar Garciaparra, but Nomar Mazara. What do you make of him as really the top prospect for the Rangers?
Yeah, this guy is, I've been following him for quite some time now. He's been a top prospect with the Rangers, behind or right up there with Joey Gallo and Lewis Brinson. I think that they could all be tied for number one. But Mazara gets called up to the major leagues this week after Shin-Soo Choo goes down with a strained calf. He's going to miss about 4 to 6 weeks. So we're going to get a pretty big sample size of Mazara here, and he can really prove if he is worthy of being up in the major leagues right now. He's going to be playing right field for the Rangers every day. Right now they have him batting second in the lineup, which is saying a lot. I think those kids, he's so versatile that you can put him at second, you can put him at third, you can put him at fourth. I really think you can put him anywhere in the lineup, and it's going to do wonders for the Rangers. He is only 20 years old. I mean, this is a 20-year-old playing Major League Baseball. I'm sitting here at 22, and I'm just trying to do homework, and this kid's Okay, this kid's facing Noah Syndergaard throwing 97 miles per hour. So there's something to be said for that. I do think that he has quite a bit more development to go.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", 215 pounds, but he has plenty of room to put on some muscle, which is just going to turn him into a force to be reckoned with. It's going to increase his power a ton. He's got to get used to it, because as his body matures, it's obviously going to gain more muscle. Last year in AA and AAA, he hit 296 with 14 home runs, 69 RBIs, 68 runs, and a 366 on base percentage. And I expect that to only increase from here on out. This kid's going to be special. He's already shown it since being called up with the Rangers. He's batting. He's 5 for 9 in his 2 games, just 625 batting average. Had a home run in his debut. Made a big name for himself. This kid's going to be special. I think it's another young guy that we got to be excited about here.
Yeah, I mean, and as I said again, Trey, and what we've really been talking about throughout this show is just how the young guys are making baseball great again. I mean, how exciting is it to see a guy like this come up? Maybe if you follow baseball, of course, you've been following this guy, and Gallo and the other guys in the system. But if you don't really follow baseball and you just flip on SportsCenter, in the morning, and you see this guy Nomar Mazara, who is this guy? But you see this rookie, this 20-year-old, come out and hit a 443-foot bomb against Jared Weaver, the best pitcher, really for the Angels. Man, that's exciting. That makes me want to follow this guy, follow Major League Baseball. I think it's great for the game. Now, Trey,
Absolutely.
How are you feeling about your Stros so far this season?
Oh man, I think it's early in the season. I think we're looking good. I think we're heading in the right direction. Right now we're 3-5. It's kind of a struggle recently. We lost the one game on the slide, like I talked about. But our pitching is struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Our bullpen, back into the bullpen, is struggling here and there. Ken Giles is still kind of iffy. We acquired him from cough the Phillies earlier this year. Gave up an arm and a leg to this guy, and he's not producing quite yet. Our offense it's going to be elite, man. You bring up guys like Carlos Correa, who's already proving himself to be the best shortstop in baseball. Jose Altuve and George Springer are starting off really cold, which has been hurting our team. But then you have guys like, and this is another guy I want to hit on really quick. You bring up this guy named Tyler White, starting first baseman. If you would ask any Astros fan at the beginning of the season who the first baseman is going to be prior to spring training, everyone would have said another Philly, John Singleton. It seems to be a common thing here. But John Singleton didn't impress anybody, and Tyler White did. Tyler White was drafted in the 33rd round a few years ago. 33rd round. Not a lot of people were high on him, and this kid came into the minor leagues and did nothing but absolutely mash the baseball. Came into spring training, proved himself, super humble guy. When we talk about humility, this guy might be the poster child for it. And he's coming here. I want to say he's batting like .555 with 3 home runs. He goes 2 for 4 the other night, and it lowers his batting average. I mean, this kid's on fire. He won American League Player of the Week last week to go along with Trevor Story in the National League. Really great story. This kid is special, but this offense is going to be even more special. He's going to be one of the headlines of it.
Yeah, man. I mean, once again, just so exciting to watch these young guys play. Now, Trey, as I said before, we have Trey Rose here on the show, and he is the founder and really the main writer for a blog that he started really a few months ago called Dynasty Digest. Trey, how's that been going for you so far the past few weeks? I mean, I've seen it on Twitter. It's definitely growing, but, man, how's that been going?
It's growing like crazy, man. I can't imagine. I'm very blessed to have had the opportunity to start this and to do it. My views are going up significantly. I'm getting a ton of support. The coolest thing about having this blog is, one, I love writing, but the second thing is interacting with, I guess, my quote-unquote fans, my supporters. I have people who tweet me on a regular basis, ask me questions about fantasy baseball, ask me my opinion. And frankly, I just love talking baseball. I love being able to connect with these guys who have the same passion that I do, who are looking for my advice, but at the same time, I'm looking to learn from them as well. It's been an awesome experience. I'm continuing to write on a daily basis. we're currently in a contest. It's actually like March Madness, but for baseball bloggers on Sports Blog. Right now, I'm killing it. We're in the second round. I advanced through the first round. I should advance this round. And it's looking to be like it's going to be approaching the finals here. But it's been an awesome experience, man. I'm really, really blessed to have had this experience.
Yeah, if you haven't got a chance to check this thing out, you got to go check it. Even if you're not a fantasy baseball guy, just a great read from the world of baseball. If you're interested in that at all, go check it out. Find him on Twitter at @dynasty_digest. Now, Trey, before you head out, I want to ask you one last question having nothing to do with baseball, all right? I don't know if you've been following the NBA at all, but it's a hot story today. I got one question for you before you head out, all right? Let's say tonight you had the option to sit courtside at either the Golden State Warriors game, where they, of course, have the opportunity to win the NBA all-time great record with 73 wins in the regular season, or you have a courtside seat to watch Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, play in his last game ever as an NBA player. Which one would you pick?
Well, which team does Trevor Story play for?
Who, Trevor Story?
Yeah, I said, which team does Trevor Story play? Trevor Story is going to be hitting threes all night. He's going to be on an NBA court, so I'm going over there. No, all jokes aside, both stories are going to be. I don't think this is going to be one of the best nights in NBA history, in my opinion, as far as storylines go. While I love Steph Corey,
attaboy.
You can tell I watch a lot of basketball, right? I love his humility. I love his three-point shot. He's done great things for the game of basketball, I think. I love what they're doing. I love the record, but I'm going to have to go with the Black Mamba here. I followed him a lot as a little kid. He's done a lot for the game, some good, some bad. But he really has had quite an impressive career. And I think there's something to say about sitting courtside, seeing a guy tear up, because you really see you see how much that he loves this game, how much it means to him. And to see such an influential figure retire on, it's been a rough year for him. And I wish they would have won more games, but I think tonight's game is going to be centered around him. I'm hoping he's taking a lot of shots. I'm hoping they bring him out of the game with 30 seconds left and the ovation lasts a minute. I think he deserves it.
Yep.
And I think it's going to be awesome. What would you choose? I'm interested to hear what you would say.
Man, with you saying that, I'm getting chills just thinking about the Black Mamba on his way out. But, man, I don't know. I think I would go Golden State just to see history being made in that way. What an opportunity. I mean, just to have the privilege, honestly, for me to be able to watch this game on television tonight just is an incredible thing just to think about. I mean, we sit here and talk about it all day about the 95-96 Bulls, how they were the best team ever. I mean, Trey, we have the opportunity to watch a team that's going to be talked forever now if they win this game as the best team in the NBA history. That's pretty cool. So I don't think you can go wrong either way there.
Well, let me ask you this, though. What if Golden State doesn't pull out the win? It's going to be obviously really disappointing.
Right.
The stadium mood is going to be, everyone's going to be walking out in silence. Well, no matter what happens in that game with Black Mamba, that crowd's going to be going nuts. You know what's going to happen. You know it's going to be a special moment.
Yeah.
Does that change your mind at all?
That's a great point, but I still think Golden State, even if they lose, they're tied with the best record ever, so I still think it's an incredible game to be at. But that's a great point, Trey. But thanks again for coming on here today. It was a blast. I had a great time talking with you about the MLB, talking about the young guns, really making an impact so far in this season. You can check Trey out on Twitter at Dynasty_digest. Go check that out and read about him. Trey, thanks for coming on, and we'll hopefully have you on in the upcoming weeks here on Sports Therapy. Thanks again, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Keep doing big things.
You got it, man. So that was Trey Rose from Dynasty Digest. Great to have him on the show. We're going to go to a quick break, but when I come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the NFL draft. Going to give you a quick update on who I think will go in the first couple of picks, and then we're going to have What Up With That. So great things coming up here on the show. Don't go anywhere. Come back and listen here on Sports Therapy.